Okay, so the Flip 3 is still one of my favorite phones, and while the Flip 4 offers a whole bunch of upgrades, which I'm going to show you, there were two things that really stopped me from properly switching to the Flip before: the battery life and the camera. And I think a lot of us were in the same boat. Well, Samsung clearly listened to my whinging because the Flip 4 here packs in a bigger 3700 mAh battery, that's up from 3300, but we also get the latest super duper flagship Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 processor, which is a pretty big step up from the 888 on last year's Flip 3, and is also a good deal more efficient. Also, the actual screen material is more efficient, apparently, and also now the adaptive refresh rate can go between 1 and 120Hz rather than 10 and 120 last year, which should all add up to drastically improved battery life. Still no charger in the box, but we do now actually get faster charging with the Flip 4 as well. We've gone from 15 to 25 watts wired charging and also 10 up to 15 watts of wireless charging, which is still quite a long way behind a lot of the Android competition. Samsung say that we'll get 50% of the charge in half an hour. These days we sort of talk about the whole charge in half an hour. So I think that's one area Samsung's starting to catch up with a little bit, but an upgrade nonetheless. Cheers! Then there's the camera, which on the outside looks pretty similar to before, still just a dual lens setup with a main and ultra wide, but the main lens now has a much larger pixel sensor size. We're talking 1.8 microns versus 1.4 before. So the main camera can let in 65% more light. They've also improved stabilization with OIS and a new form of EIS for video. But the thing is, while it may be the main camera that's had the big upgrade, the new chip gives us a much more powerful NPU, or neural processing unit, which should give some level of improvement to all the camera lenses. The problem is though, battery life and cameras are like the two things you can't really test at a quick hands-on event, so I'll withhold judgment until I get my final review sample, but hopefully, fingers crossed, that's a big tick to my wish list of actually being able to switch to a Flip. Now, despite being called the Flip 4, this is actually the third Flip they've made, and they've come a long way in 3 generations, but now, rather than revolutionary design changes, we're in the realm of refinement. And you can see the bezels are a little bit thinner, the hinge is a touch smaller, it's a little bit more compact overall, and actually when closed, the overall height is 1.5 mils shorter. Although to be fair with the Flip, it's always been about the thickness rather than the height that's the issue. You're still going to have a bit of a bulge in your pants, if you know what I mean. The crease is also still there, that's not really changed, and you do feel it when you're scrolling up, but for me, I quickly get used to it and it's not really much of an issue. Both the new Flip 4 and the Fold 4 get Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on the front and the back, which is around 12% stronger than the Victus that we got last year, and that's together with the same aluminium armor frame as they call it. We do also get the same IPX8 level of water resistance, that's the same as the Flip 3, which means you can dunk it in fresh water up to 1.5 meters for half an hour. But to Samsung's credit, they are still the only ones making foldables with some level of water resistance. This is the Oppo Find N, this is the new Huawei Mate XS2, neither of which offer any kind of water resistance. Also, both the Flip and the Fold undergo 200,000 opening and closing motions to test durability, which is very reassuring, although I do hope they pay these robots a good wage. One of the reasons I genuinely love the Flip phones is they're just a bit different from your usual rectangular slabs of glass. And actually, you're not even really paying that much of a premium for this form factor anymore. If you consider the S22 Plus is only 50 quid less, 950 versus 1000, but this gets the new Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chip, so a more powerful processor, and importantly, if you're in the UK and some other countries, you're guaranteed a Snapdragon chip with this. No Exynos in sight. It's also a whole lot more interesting, a lot more versatile in how you actually can use it, particularly with flex mode. And so I reckon for me, I would take a Flip 4 over an S22 Plus easily. But also, the Flip is one of the few phones out there that's not just a phone. It's also a bit of a lifestyle accessory. And the Flip 4 introduces 4 new colors. We get graphite, pink gold, the signature Bora purple, which is very nice, and also blue, which come with color-matched aluminium armor frames. But if those basic colors don't quite match your vibe, you can also create your own bespoke designs on Samsung's website with 75 different combinations. I love this. The Flip 4 already looks cool, but now you can properly customize it without just relying on a funky case. So it's faster, it should last a good deal longer, we've had a few design tweaks and a whole bunch more customization options, but one of the key USPs of the Flip is this cover screen. It is still quite small compared to what you get on the Fold, but now you can do a whole lot more with this, like adding new widgets for WhatsApp or quick settings. You can now turn on the torch, AirPlay mode, use Samsung Wallet. It's pretty nifty, although most of the time I reckon I'd use it to check the time, reply to a quick message, but I reckon the best part is being able to use it as a viewfinder for the camera. And now they've added portrait mode to photo and video that you can switch between on the cover screen. You can also swipe up to switch lenses and also double tap to change the aspect ratio, which means whatever mode you're in, whichever way you're holding it, you can see exactly what you're gonna get. We do also have a 10 megapixel central hole punch camera on the main screen, still no underscreen camera unlike the Fold sadly, but the beauty of this is that most of the time you're going to be using the higher quality main cameras for everything, including your selfies. And when you're using it in flex mode, which basically means you've just folded it a little bit, it becomes its own tripod, and actually you can even hold it like a camcorder if you want. You can also start recording from the cover screen with the flip closed, and then open it up and continue. Now I do hope a lot of these software tweaks that come with One UI 4.1 will trickle down to older flips, but Samsung have added a lot more flexibility in how you can actually use this. Some apps also let you use the bottom half of the screen as a touchpad, although this does seem to be a bit of a beta feature right now and not many apps actually can support it. But still, the Flip 4 is just so much fun to play around with, get creative, and figure out different ways of using it, particularly with the camera. So you know what, even if it doesn't look like much has changed when you have them side by side, in reality, the Flip 4 is shaping up to be a really significant upgrade. Let me make sure I've got this right. It's faster, it lasts longer, it charges quicker, we get slimmer bezels, stronger glass, a slightly smaller overall footprint, the cameras are better, particularly the main lens, we get the new color and design options, and it's the same price as before, starting at £999. And that'll get you 8 gigs of RAM and 128 storage, but you can pay more for 256 or 512 storage, which you might want to do because you can't expand the storage, and actually it's only 60 quid more to get the 256, which I reckon is a pretty good deal. So what do you reckon? Are you tempted by the Flip or the Fold? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see my full reviews and comparisons, make sure you've hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time right here on the Tech Chat.